Welcome back to GAA Fan TV. Mayo have secured a National Football League final. They have beaten Donegal away from home by a scoreline of 117 to 9 points. Actually, the first time that they've ever won in Donegal, which was quite the statistic. I remember doing the preview show during the week and looking back to try and find out when Mayo last beat Donegal, and I couldn't find out. Hence the reason they've actually never won there, which is quite incredible until today. And what a win it was, what a result it was, what a performance it was. And Mayo have put themselves into a fantastic position now. They're in the league final, and in terms of the overall big picture of the year, like Mayo are looking very, very strong, very, very strong in terms of the depth of their squad. I think they've one of the best squads in the country, in my opinion, and yeah, like that was a very, very commanding performance. And the thing is, it wasn't even Mayo's best performance as well. Like I think Mayo probably played better against Tyrone. I think they probably played better against Kerry as well. And it really wasn't until the second half that they sort of stepped into gear and really started to dominate the game. I thought in the first half, they were just in cruise control. Around midfield, Matthew Rowan, fantastic performance, 3 points from him. Paddy Durkin coming back into the side. He's always been, I suppose, as an outside fan, as a neutral fan. I'm not too sure I'm able to say that as a Dublin fan, but Paddy Durkin's always been one of those players I've always enjoyed watching because, I mean, he gets up and down the pitch like an absolute racehorse. The speed of him, the adrenaline of him. He reminds me a lot of Jack McCaffrey. I know Dublin fans won't want to hear that, but he does remind me a lot of him of a good few years ago when he's getting up and down that pitch. He's setting scores up around him. He's getting scores as well. And I thought it was a very, very good performance from him. And Aidan O'Shea, what more can we say about this man? Undoubtedly, in my opinion, he has been the footballer of the year so far in 2023. And I know some people won't want to hear that. And, myself as a Dublin fan, I've given Aidan O'Shea plenty of stick down the years on the hill and everything else. And I'm sure plenty of other Dublin fans have, and GA fans up and down the country have given him a lot of stick. But I think he's just been phenomenal. He's been absolutely phenomenal. There's a bit of a swagger about his play at the minute as well. There was even one moment where he just chipped the ball up to himself rather than, scooping it up. Like it was just there's an absolute swagger about Aidan O'Shea. And it's great to see considering the amount of abuse he's got down the years. No man has probably got more abuse in the GA than him. And it's a lot of it has just been total nonsense, really. I think people are fair to criticize O'Shea in the last couple of years' performances and what role he really offered to the side. But I think being abusive about it has been way, way too far. And his performance today, brilliant again, 3 points. But not only that, he was, again, he's just causing absolute havoc. They're playing that ball into him. And he's either winning the ball and scoring, or he's winning the ball, setting things up. He's just making things happen. And, what an absolute stroke of genius from Kevin McStay to push him inside. And not only that, but they're playing, because the thing is that they're all saying in, social media and even on TG Car, they were saying, it's a new role for Aidan O'Shea. It's not really. We've seen Aidan O'Shea play this role before a good couple of years ago. He's just sort of been drifted out of this role and moved sort of further back towards midfield and the half forward line. And when Mayo have tried to play him in that full forward line, they've just played poor ball into him. They haven't played good passes into him. Because he's not the quickest, he's not the paciest, and he's probably not the most agile. So you need to get good ball into him. But if you get good ball into him, I think he wins it probably against any defender in the country, in my opinion, on his day. So that's the main difference. And he was absolutely brilliant again today. And just the wealth of options that Mayo have, like Ryan O'Donoghue scoring 1-2, Jack Carney on the score sheet, Jordan Flynn on the score sheet, Tommy Conroy coming off the bench. I don't think he scored in the end, but there was that moment where he has that run and it's a goal chance. And it doesn't go on the back of the net in the end, but that was vintage Tommy Conroy, and Mayo fans would have loved seeing that. And, the more the season goes on, the more fitter and sharper he will become, and the more of a threat he will become for this Mayo side. Where's that banner gone? Why has it disappeared on me? There we go. Someone else is controlling this. Maybe some Galway fans are trying to hack in here or something. But yeah, there we go. There's probably not a lot more to say about Mayo. Like they've sealed that league final. They can rest players now for next week. And the thing is, the depth of their squad is so good. Like, no Cillian O'Connor today. I think Kevin McLaughlin came off the bench. Jason Doherty maybe came off the bench as well. Pádraig O'Hara came off the bench. Like, they have a lot of very, very good players there. Even Conor McStay as well, who was shooting the lights out during pre-season. So, like, Mayo could rest a good bunch of their players next week. I think it's Monaghan they're playing and probably still beat them. Do you know that way? Like, they've got a very, very good depth to their squad. I suppose it's the same old saying with Mayo in terms of we've been down this road before and we've kind of looked at them and thought, is this the year? Is this the moment where Mayo actually finally go and do it? I think Mayo fans should keep their powder dry a little bit on that, just because, that bridge has been burnt on multiple occasions. But what I would say is I think this is as good as I've seen a Mayo team. And I don't know how long, really. Even when they won that league title a few years ago, I felt like they were overachieving a little bit. They had a couple of players who were aged and a few younger players who'd come in. And the Hoosters or the Roosters came home to roost when they played Dublin in the All-Ireland quarterfinals. But I think this Mayo side is as good as any Mayo team, probably since 2017. And look, yeah, it is the league and everything else. And, when the championship comes around, that's when teams will really be judged. And, when we get to the group stages and, provincial championships and everything, that's when we'll really know. But Mayo at this moment in time look like a very, very hard team to beat. And the team who beats them this year might be the ones who win the All-Ireland. I'd still have Kerry above Mayo in the bracket. I think Derry are gone seriously under the radar as well. But I think things look very, very positive from a Mayo perspective. And if I were a Mayo fan, I would be very excited for this year, or for the championship. I know it's only the league, but I have a good feeling Mayo won't be far away from Sam. O'Shea had no choice but to up his game. His position on the team was up for grabs. It is a fair point, isn't it? And it was probably make or break maybe for Aidan O'Shea, because it was one of them things where at the start of the year the question was, would he even be in the team? And he obviously wasn't the captain at the start of the year. The captaincy was taken away from him. From what I think Conor Loftus is the captain now. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, but yeah. So like he needed to stand up and he needed to show what he's made of, and he's done that. He's been brilliant. He's been the best player I think in the league so far this year. I haven't seen every team play, and I'm sure maybe Keith Byrne in Division 4 with Leitrim maybe has has an argument to say, but I think in Division 1 I think he definitely has been the best overall footballer. He's scoring, he's setting things up, and he's just causing absolute chaos. I suppose a word on Donegal, like a very drab performance from them. Like just looking at it here, Michael Langan with 2 points, Kieran Thompson with 3. I think it's just the end of an era for Donegal. I think Donegal is just the end of an era, unfortunately. I think the years of them, when they won, I think it was 2 or 3 Ulster titles in a row under Declan Bonner. I got to a couple of finals in a row as well. And there was a time where they were probably what Mayo are now, which is the team that are going to be challenging for Sam. Donegal just don't look like that team anymore. And if obviously Michael Murphy stepped away and Paddy McBurthy's injured. I think Oisín Gallen, who came on, looked like he picked up an injury as well. So they are getting a lot of injuries to key players, but they're just not scoring enough. Like I think only London and Waterford have scored less than them in the entire 4 divisions. That's a worrying statistic from a Donegal perspective, and I think they've fallen a good bit behind now in the spectrum in Ulster, and I think that's them definitely relegated. I'll need to have another look at the league table, but I know Armagh have the head-to-head record on them. Obviously, Monaghan are on 4 points. A few teams are on 6. Donegal are on 3. So I think that's them gone, isn't it? I think that's them gone. So, to be honest with you, Division 2 will be strong next year as well. With Cavan coming up, and depending on what happens with Dublin and Louth next week. But regardless, Division 2 is going to be tough for Donegal next year, and I don't even think they'll get out of it, to be honest with you. So, and I think the worrying part as well is there's a lack of urgency, really. Their shooting was poor, but they're also not creating enough. They're not creating enough at all. Like just 3 points in the second half, and it wasn't like it was a huge amount of wides or really. There was an element of poor shooting, but Like, I remember I seen a statistic on TG Carr at one point. Mayo had created 25 scoring chances. Donegal had created 13. And Donegal are at home. So, like, that's, not really good enough there from a Donegal perspective. Tom says Paddy Durkin in relation to the captaincy, maybe, I think is what he means there. So, yeah, that's fair enough. But, yeah, there we go. Mayo get the result, get the win, book themselves into a league final. I suppose it'd be interesting to know from Mayo supporters, like, how serious would you treat that league final? Obviously, with the fact that Roscommon are looming large, and although Roscommon have probably hit a bit of a small patch of bad form, it's still a massive game. And it's a week or two after the league final potentially. So, like, I think from a Mayo perspective, they'll want to make sure that they're not, they don't get any injuries or over-egg themselves a little bit, but they have the depth in their squad. And it's looking very, very strong from a Mayo perspective. Will they win the All-Ireland? Like, that's the age-old question that probably won't get answered today and shouldn't get answered today, but they're definitely on the right track. They definitely are. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, your opinions in the comments down below. Cheers to anyone who tuned in live. We'll be going live at 9 o'clock tonight with Matthew Hurley from the GA Statsman podcast to review all the weekend's action. Obviously, plenty to discuss. You'd Loud picking up a big result against Cork. I'm sure Matthew will have plenty to say about that one. I think Kildare beat Limerick from what I've seen. Tyrone beating Monaghan. That's a huge result that, not many people, including me, seen coming. And plenty other results. Fermanagh looking very, very close towards promotion now as well in Division 3. So make sure to tune in for that. Smash the like button. See you later.